we are here. Okay. Okay. Okay, so this is called Visual Studio Code. You have to install something called Visual Studio Code. Okay, Visual Studio Code has to be installed on your machine. Uh, that's where actually you got to write all your code. Okay, so whatever I taught you for the past 2 days, so you need to write it in the Visual Studio Code. So uh, first of all, what you need to do here is you need to install Python as well on your machine, but I would like to explain it little later on. Right now, don't worry about the Python, installing Python and stuff like that. Just we focus only on how I am explaining and then doing things like that. But later on we can see how to work with Python and stuff like that. Right now I am writing everything in a Visual Studio Code. Okay, I'm going to write the third example, expressions. The second example is not here, I would like to pull it later on. Okay, so every Python file, how does it understand that it's Python file? Because the file ends with .py extension. Okay, the file ends with py extension is supposed to be a Python file. It's supposed to be a Python file. So in the previous session we discussed about typecasting and type conversion. How do you cast from integer to integer to string? For example, s equal to, okay, str of maybe 10. So 10 is an integer, it gets converted to string, and then you can print type of s. It prints a type of s, and then you have to run this particular example, which is called Python. I am using Python version 3. I will tell you 3 Python. I'm sorry, Python Python 3. Okay, so it is telling that it's of type str because it is converted as str. That's how it is. It's a type. What is the type of this? It's str. Okay, it's str. If you okay, it gives a lot of help to you because this IDE and all, once IDE comes into the picture, it help you a lot in order to write the applications and stuff like that. But just telling you, but yesterday's compiler, it did not print anything like this because that's a compiler, online compiler. It doesn't print all those things. There are some limitations for the compiler. Okay, so coming to the next thing, expressions means mathematical computations. There are generally three kinds of expressions. Generally I'm speaking, there are three kinds of expressions. Arithmetic expressions. Expressions are the expressions that are made by arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators, we'll discuss about it. There are few operators which are called arithmetic operators who perform arithmetic expressions, and then something called comparison expressions. Comparison expressions, and the third one is logical expressions. Okay. For example, no, I'll explain it. So there are three kinds of expressions we can have. Sometimes we can have the combination of these three kinds of expressions, but ultimately these are called as an expressions. So when you look at the arithmetic expressions, for example, I create a comma b is two variables, maybe 10 and 20. I create two variables a and b which are of 10 and 20. You want to know what type this a and b are, you can send print type of a, sorry, type of a, and then you can also have type of b. Okay, you have two variables, type of a and b, and then you can run this application Python 3 expressions py. You see that one is called the integer, other one is also called integer. These are the types of the variables. Fine, just printing. I didn't give enter, I this one. You don't enter. You need to run by using a Python. You have to use Python. Okay, or you can run like this as well. You can also run like this. Okay, this is there, but it has to be separately installed. It doesn't work. It doesn't appear directly. It has to be installed separately. uh, However, yeah, you can do that. But there is a command called python 3, name of the file, which is called 3expressions.py. When you run it, you get the output. Okay, we create a and b, two variables. We got it. Now you can perform different kinds of expressions. Let us say that c equal to a plus b. C equal to, for example, then print c, print c, and then I give c equal to a minus b. You know that what is a minus b? It's a minus expression maybe, and then we have a lot of expressions like this. We can perform many expressions. Again, I give c equal to a into b. This is called into operator. Okay, I print c, and then c equal to, you can have I give b by a. Okay, this is a by operator, divided by operator. It's gonna give you the coefficient. This is gonna give you the coefficient. And there is something called modulus operator. Modulus operator is going to give you especially the modulus. For example, c equal to maybe b modulus 3. This got to be the modulus operator. This is called the modulus operator. What is that? This is a percentage operator. It is on the keyboard 5. It's a modulus. It's something called a modulus. Okay, modulus means it gives you the, not the remind. It the modulus operator. Modulus operator is going to give you the remainder. Okay, then we can print the remainder. Just printing everything. Not we are doing nothing, but just printing. You can also have something called addition. You can have subtraction. You can have multiplication and division. And modulus, remainder. Okay, there is something called floor division. There is something, generally not all programming languages have that, something which is called a floor division. Floor division means, let us say c equal to b. You can have divided by, but 2 divided by you can give. So the floor division means it gives you, for example, here it's gonna give you 3.3. 10 by 3 here, it's gonna give you, it's not exactly the it's going to give you the, actually this the type of C is not a 3.33 or something. It gives this division. This is a modulus, this you know, because this is a float, but this is an integer. This gives you an integer. This one is a floor division. Floor division means, for example, this gives 3.33. As you said earlier yesterday or something, you asked me how the division is going to give you exactly. You asked me what the floor division is giving. For example, 3.3. The floor division is going to give you based on the after decimal points, whatever it's gonna give you, that one. For example, it is 3.99. Then it's gonna give you 4. More than 5, it gives it floors. It does the floor division, which is called this one. And what else? There is also an exponentation operator. Let me print floor division. It's got to be C. Okay, there is something called exponent operator. Exponent operator means let's say c equal to for example b into 2. This got to be b square. Basically this got to be b square. Okay, this is going to be the exponent operator, maybe square of a number, exponent we can give exponent by using this. So these are the basic arithmetic operators. You want to run it, you can run Python 3 on my machine, Python 3, and then the program is 3 variable expressions. So you get this expressions like that, 30 minus 10, multiplication is 200, division is 2.0, remainder, floor division is 6 because we got to do the division by I think what the floor division is 20 by 3, so it gives it as 6, 3, 6 or 18, and then you have to, it gives us 2. Then this is a square of a number, exponent. Here it is square, but depends on what you do. If you put 3, I think it gives the 3, a cube of a number. So this is an exponent. You get, these are all the arithmetic operators. Okay, these are all the arithmetic operators, but generally there is a concept called operator precedence. Okay, operator precedence, I'm just checking what are the precedence order. Operator precedence means whenever you are using I can continue, right? Operator precedence means whenever there are arithmetic operators, there are operators. There are 3 kinds of operators we have. We were discussing about, there is the arithmetic operators, comparison operator, and then logical operator. We are just talking about the arithmetic operator. Generally, operator precedence means which operator among all the entire expression has got the highest precedence. Okay, which has to be evaluated or calculated at first is what we talk about the operator precedence. It's very important for the computer to evaluate a value. It's all depends on the operator, and then with the operator precedence it works. For example, I give c equal to a plus b into a into 2 plus a by b by 10, b by 2 maybe, plus minus a minus b into 20 divided by 20 divided by 2. For example, if you have a look at this particular expression, if you take a look at this expression, which operator which has to be evaluated first is talks about the operator precedence. Generally we have to give, are you listening me? Yeah. So generally what happened is, whichever the operator has got the highest precedence, that gets evaluated generally from one direction, from left to right. Okay, which operator has got the highest precedence? Basically, if there is any parenthesis, has the highest precedence. That means in the whole expression, wherever there is a parenthesis, that gets evaluated first. So if you look at the whole expression, what it is doing is different thing. I don't know what I'm doing, but just if it is an expression, assume that this is an expression. Among the whole expression, what is evaluated first? what is evaluated first. So wherever there is a parenthesis, that gets evaluated first. That means a minus b gets, this is evaluated first. And then like that, each and every operator, whether it is an arithmetic, comparison, or logical operator, there is something called an operator precedence table. Operator precedence table is there. The parenthesis has got the highest, and then exponentation, this has got the second highest precedence. And then we have the unary operator, something called, there is something called plus x, minus x, something like, there are some unary operators in Python. I will discuss about that. Those unary operators has got the third highest precedence, and then the into has, into and divided by has got the highest precedence. Actually into and divided by has got the equal highest precedence, equal precedence. For example, here it is an into, here it is divided by, and then here it is an into. Then it is evaluated from left to right generally, this, so it checks which has got the highest precedence, this gets evaluated. After that, the whole expression it checks. Then the into of the divided by and into are the equal precedence, so into is evaluated first. Like that, based on actually the operators, we have to, so it's very important, it's pretty important to give proper parenthesis and then group the operators whenever you are performing the operators. Okay, and then the least precedence operator, the least precedence operator is this. Why it has got the least precedence? Because after evaluating or calculating or solving the entire expression, at last, as the last destination, it has to assign the value into C. So this has got the least precedence. So the highest precedence is parenthesis, and then it goes to the exponent operator, and then it is the into or divided by, it's of kind of an operators. Like that, there is a table, the modulus operator gets into the picture and all. After that, you have plus, minus, and then there are other operators. End operator comes into the picture, and bitwise operators comes into the picture. Then the comparison operators come, not operator come, and operator or never. These are all the logical expressions comes as the least precedence. The arithmetic has got the highest, and then the comparison has got the second, and then the logical comes into the third. This is the this is how the operator precedence come into the picture. It's very important to know that actually operator precedence. Okay, sometimes even the simplest expression what we think looks pretty easy, but actually you get wrong results because of not knowing the proper expression. I just give it as an expression, and then the operator precedence work, and then based on that it gets evaluated. Okay, you can go and check how you got actually 124.0, because these are all, it gets evaluated and then you get the value ultimately. Okay, these are all the arithmetic operators. After the arithmetic operator, we have comparison operators. The second one is, where comparison operators. First one is arithmetic, the second one is comparison operator, the third one is a logical operator. Comparison operator means greater than or less than, we call it as a comparison operator. For example, if I give C equal to A greater than B, so comparison operators does not going to give you a value. Comparison and logical operators, the comparison and logical operators always give you true or false. A is greater than B, true or false. A is 10 and B is 20, so A is greater than B is true or false? It's false, so you get false here when you print it. When you print the comparison, you get C as true or false. Okay, you get it false because A is not greater than B, it is false. Let's say the same thing, you can have the less than operator, you get it as true, and then you can have equal to operator, okay, you get equal to operator, you get false. Okay, you get false because the second one is true, and all these are all the comparison operator. You compare whether both the things are equal or not equal. There is also not equal to operator. For example, I go here, A not equal to B, this is called not equal. This is not equal comparison. You get is true because A is not equal to B because it's a true. Yes, it's A is not equal to. These operators are very important for you to write actually conditions as well. Okay, the third one is called the logical operators. Logical operators are generally and, or not. There are three logical operators. We have got and, there is something called or, and then the not. These three are called the logical operators, and or not. So these operators we do in association with generally the other operators. Let us say that I create C equal to A plus B, okay, plus 10, okay, and then greater than 20. What would be the result? What you get C? What value you get into C? A plus B, which is called 10 plus 20, it's called 30, and then arithmetic operators has the highest precedence than the comparison. So what happened? A plus B, it's 30, and then plus 10, which is got 40, and then greater than 20, which is true. So the C is not a value, C is true or false. Of course, true or false is also a value, but the value of C is not a value. Value of C is true or false. So you get the value of C is true or false. You don't get an arithmetic value, you get a comparison value, because it's ultimately the ultimate result is you are comparing by using the comparison. So this has got the least. So you compare, you see that which operators have the highest precedence? The parenthesis. After parenthesis, what has got the highest precedence? In two operators, or divided by, or floor divide, or modulus. There is nothing like that. After that, what happened? Plus or minus. So there is a plus. So this gets evaluated, and then this gets evaluated. The greater than has got the least, comparatively less precedence or priority, whatever you call it. So what is the ultimate result? After evaluating this, we get the value as 40 greater than 20, true or false. It is true, so you got the value C into true. Okay, like that you have to always think whenever you are performing an operation with multiple things. And then fine, there is something called a logical operator, and or not. And means, if you really know and operator, if you are into true and true is always true. True and false is always false. False and true is always false. False and false is always false. So these are about the AND operators. So the whole expression would give you a true or false, and then ultimately true and true is true, true and false is false, rest all are false. Only true and true is true whenever you are using the true operator. Okay, for example, I got to print this, print true and true. So okay, and then sorry, so true and false, false and true, false and false. So you get only true as true, rest all are false. If you do the same thing with the OR operator, you need to know actually AND operator, how does it work, OR operator, how does it work. So the OR operator, the OR operator works differently. So at least one of them is true, one of them is true, then it is true for OR operator. At least one of them is true. Okay. For AND operator, both should be true. Remember that for AND operator, both should be true. Okay, both should be true. Rest all of them are false. For OR operator, at least one of them is true, that is enough. Actually this, it looks pretty simple, but the entire computer works on this because there are logical gates and all, AND gate, OR gate, NOT gate, and these logical gates, basically they are all electronic signals internally work. That is how the signals work. However, fine. So there is something called NOT operator. Okay, I'm just printing and showing you how does it work. Actually NOT operator doesn't work like this. NOT operator was not closed. NOT operator works with actually not true. Let me put it as not false. You know, so let me show not true is false, not false is true. Of course, the reverse of whatever you are thinking, you get it. Fine. These two are important. These two are important. Let us say that, let's say there is a person, let's say age equal to 18, and then gender equal to female. Okay, what I can do is I can write if else condition. Okay, because if else conditions and all, they completely work on these expressions. How does if else conditions work? These expressions are important. Fine, I don't want to do if else condition, but just I would like to print. So what I do is age is greater than or equal to 18 and gender equal to female, or gender equal to female f, small f, you got to return it. Let me check whether it is, you got to return it into a value eligible for marriage. Ultimately everything ends with marriage. Eligible for marriage, for example, I just write this is an expression. So how this expression is evaluated? Age is greater than 18. For example, if you really look at this expression, age is greater than 18. So what gets executed first? If you look at the right hand side, what gets executed first? This is the place that gets executed first. The reason is the highest precedence among all the arithmetic, logical and comparison operators. Which has got the highest precedence? The brackets have got the highest, the parenthesis has got the highest precedence. then what happened? The parenthesis gets evaluated. So how it gets evaluated is age is greater than or equal to 18 and gender is capital F or small f. That means capital F, it is capital F. So and true or false. That means how it is: age is greater than or equal to 18 and true, because true or false, any one of them is true, that is true. Now it the precedence goes to the comparison operator, not the logical operator, the comparison operator. Wherever it is, the parenthesis gets highest precedence. Now the comparison operator, age is greater than or equal to 18. It's not greater than but equal to 18. So this is called true and true. Then what is it? True and true is true. So the ultimate result of eligible for marriage is true. So marriage has come as true. The reason is the whole expression gets evaluated that way. Let me give it as M. So M, if it is M, what happens? This is false and this is also false. Then false or false is always false. And true and false is always false, because AND operator ensure that both the expressions should be true, then only the AND work. So true and false is false, ultimately you get it as false. So these are all the comparison operators. Let us say the whole thing I give it as not. So what happened? Not false is what? Not false is nothing but true. If I give this not here, then it is false, because this would become false. I said not false, which is true. True into true is true, not true is nothing but false. Like that you have to understand these expressions. These things looks very simple, many people don't give so much of attention to that, but actually you have to understand these expressions a lot. I always give a lot of importance to the expressions. Ultimately the logic that you write, the calculations that you do are composed of a lot of expressions. Okay, expressions are very important in any language. Okay, there is there is a special thing. Let us say I have you can say that let C equal to, for example, I have got a string called fruit equal to apple. So C equal to A in apple, in fruit. Okay, what this is called, this is also an expression. A in fruit, in is this kind of a syntax is very important. Later on we will discuss about it a lot, because it's a collection. A in fruit is what? Apple. A is there in apple. Yes, A is there in apple. So this is gonna give you true or false. This gives you true because A is there in apple. But if I go for Z or Z, Z is not in their apple, so you get it as false. Let us say not C, then it's gonna give you I'm sorry. This is a printing, yeah. This is just a printing like that. This is the print. There's nothing to do anything. I just want to print. That's all. Z in apple. Is there Z in apple? That's what I'm asking. Just to print for your understanding. Nothing to do with this. This is double quotations is just a print. Nothing to do with anything. It's just a print. Okay. Z in apple. No, Z is not there in apple. So it's a false basically. But what you're saying not false. Not false is always true. Not false is always true. Okay. This is what for now. I think we can stop it here.